Zos Hanukkah it's called. This is Hanukkah. The words are basically taken from tomorrow's reading, tomorrow's laning, Zos Chanukas HaMizbeach. After each of the Nesiim brought his collection of korbanos, his sacrifices for the inauguration of the Mishkan, the Torah goes and makes a sum total of all the sacrifices that were brought. And it's called Zos Chanukas HaMizbeach. This is the totality of it. Every day stands for something. In the case of the Nesiim, where every tribe's leader brought sacrifices, so every single one of them brought the same exact combination of sacrifices, and the Medrash explains that each one brought the same thing but for different reasons. Well, it's all the same. If you listen to the Kriya every day, they all sound the same. It's the same Tamei HaMikra. It sounds exactly the same. Every day the same exact thing. These were 12 different ones. But at the end there's a sum total where all of it was one expression of appreciation for the Mishkan and looking forward to what the Mishkan is going to do. Zos Chanukas HaMizbeach turns into Zos Hanukkah. Here too, first every day is another level of miracle. We are Mosif Ha'olach, we go 1 and then 2 and then 3, because every day was another level of nes, another level of miracle. The culmination was when we have all the 8. It's also everything that everyone felt throughout the days that we're supposed to be walking with thanks to Hashem. This is the time to really reflect on what it is that Hanukkah is supposed to be teaching us and leaving us with for the whole year. So, what I'd like to discuss is the most basic question, I think. We understand that the Greeks were the first intellectual challenge to the Jewish people. Up until that point, all we were fighting was paganism. The Greeks were the first to come with an ideology, with logic, with reasoning, for an intelligent human being. This was the first time that there was a real challenge. In the case of idolatry, in the case of paganism, it was this drive that humanity had before the Great Assembly abolished it. There was a drive where naturally people had to bow down to stones. We can't imagine what that's like. But it was not an intellectual challenge in any way. In fact, throughout the First Temple era, although there was so much idolatry, it was coined by Eliyahu Hanavi, Poseach al shtei hasiipim. What they were really doing is coming through both doors. They all knew the truth. They knew what was right. They understood there was no competition. We had truth, and everybody else, they had sticks and stones. No comparison. There was this need to bow, and they did that along with their emunah and their fulfillment of the mitzvahs. The first real challenge was Greece, because they came with intellect, they came with philosophy, they came with values. Most important of which was democracy, although it was not total democracy, but democracy. So it was a challenge. How do you resolve an intellectual disagreement? We know what it's like. You sit in the base medrash and you argue with your chavrusa. Whatever it is that you're talking about, whether you're sitting over a Gemara, whether you're talking about something about emunah, whether you're discussing the authenticity of the oral law, whatever it is, you know what it's like. It's discussion, it's argument. What should we have expected? Debates. What was it instead? The Greeks, the Hellenists, the Syrian Hellenists, the mercenaries from Africa, the elephants, first decrees against keeping Torah, actual violence. What's that about? It was a war. Why wasn't it debate? Come on. You know what it's like here. What do we always tell you here? Everything is open for questioning. You decide. Does it make sense or not? You believe in something, you got to defend it. It's all about argument. It's all about pursuing truth. What happened? War. Decrees, war. Not to mention the fact that the Greeks themselves took pride in their tolerance, except for us. They couldn't tolerate Judaism. What happened? What happened? You don't have to go back to ancient history to work this one out. It's alive and well today. It's the same old Greek ideology. It's called tolerance, and everything is to be tolerated, except for religion and especially the Jews. Everything is to be tolerated. Except for those who are creationists, those who say that there's absolute truth. Go make sense of that. Where does that come from? Excuse me. I think it's just very simple. Tolerance sounds so good. It feels good. Fighting for the rights of minorities feels so good. You don't have to leave your comfort zone. You don't have to make any demands on yourself. Make demands on others. Just stop discriminating. It feels so good. Part of tolerance, pushed to the point of having to respect everyone's right to their own truth. You know what that really is? I won't bother you, you don't bother me. It means I don't have to defend what I believe in. It means I can do whatever's comfortable for me. I don't have to make demands on myself. And you've got to respect and tolerate me. And if you claim that there's a truth that is greater than whatever I'm doing, you're a bigot. This is what the Torah refers to as Kishrirus Libi Elech. I will do what I feel like. Minus apikorsus. Questioning creation, or today, sitting as a fact that creationists are cavemen. This is rejecting responsibility to a higher truth, rejecting a responsibility for one's own behavior. It's an ideology that sounds so good and is so comfortable. And here you got these Jews that are questioning us and telling us that there's right and wrong, that there is a higher power, that there is a creator, and he taught us right from wrong. And he demands that we take responsibility for ourselves. And you don't have the right to tell people, this is who I am. You'll have to learn to put up with me. We are the conscience of the world. Yes, we make them feel uncomfortable. What they're fighting is not their ideology. What they're fighting is that we're making them feel uncomfortable. There's no question that the Jews that are most hated are the Orthodox. So the question is, so what was our reaction? What did we do? What did the Maccabees do? So they fought. They were ready to give their lives for this. We understand that our place in humanity is to stand up for what's right. And that's what we live for. And we're ready to make any sacrifice. But I want to go a little deeper. We understand what Torah is all about is not just the study of philosophy. It's not just an academic exercise, even though we spend so much of our time studying the books. I'm sure you all know all about it. What we're about is that every bit of wisdom is meant to transform us. A Torah true Jew is not just an academic. Everything he studies is transformational. We live understanding that we don't just do what we feel like, we control ourselves. We understand our instincts, our character flaws, and understand that it's our responsibility to change. It's not just our philosophy that the Greeks had a hard time with. It was us. What the Jew personifies, what the Torah true Jew is. It wasn't just what we were preaching. It's what we became. And they felt judged. And perhaps this is something many of you experience. When you spend time here and then you go back to your friends and family, and people start feeling a little bit uncomfortable because you've changed. become a more sensitive human being. Your conversation no longer resembles theirs. Your interests have changed. And people feel uncomfortable. And there's no sense to having any discussions. It becomes personal. You can easily intimidate people around you. It's what the Jew becomes as he learns. By the way, so how do you deal with that? We didn't have responsibility for the Greeks or the Hellenists. But how will you deal with your friends and family? I would hope that part of what Torah teaches you is how to be the best son, sibling, friend, and let them see it's not just that you're involved in more spiritual stuff, and that so much of what interests them no longer interests you, but let them see that you're more caring and understanding than ever before, because that's something I'm sure you've learned here too. You really care about them. Friends out there can hang out and have a good time together. But it's a cold world. People don't care all that much. Show me another society where a wedding looks like ours. Show me another society on earth, on the face of this earth, where people do as much chesed as we do. You can intimidate them a little bit, but you got to smother them with care. The goal is that perhaps they'll want to be your friend and maybe envy what you've become. They may show interest. So be aware. But getting back to Hanukkah, it wasn't just a philosophy, it was us. The Greeks couldn't take us. Yes, that's what the Jew is. And we got to fight for it, now more than ever. They've outdone the Greeks 100-fold. The world has gone haywire. With the Jews at the forefront again. And it's affected every one of us too. We've got to be strong in the way we think. And we've got to stand up for what we believe in. And we've got to remind Jews about what we're all about. And not unlike the Maccabees, no sacrifice is too small. We have to preserve and grow what we know is right, what we know Hashem wants of us. And like in those days, you come with Mesiras Nefesh, you're ready to make every sacrifice, but for real. There will be miracles. I'm sure you're all well aware of our 2030 vision. Our goal of having Jews redefine themselves, redefine what a Jew is, which means reaching masses. Sounds impossible. If we're ready to give it our all, it's going to happen. Everyone in his own way. So what we want you to get here is, first of all, become the person that the Torah wants us to be. Be transformed. Let every new idea in Torah be translated into another level of sensitivity and insight on your part. A greater level of self-awareness, a greater pursuit of truth. And make sure what you pick up here too is that you've got to give it your all. There is nothing in life more important than the future of the Jewish people. Wherever you end up, whatever you do with your lives, this has to be number one on the agenda. Jewish destiny. At any expense. And then watch the miracles happen. Tov lodos Hashem. It's great to thank Hashem. We just sang before, La'agid baboker chazdecha, to speak of your chasadim, the loving kindness that we see clearly baboker in the morning when the sun shines, when everything is good. Ve'emunascha baleilos. Emunah is for the dark. When Hashem is in hiding, when things aren't going so smoothly. What we sing then is praises on the basis of emunah, knowing He's there, knowing He cares for us, knowing He's going to be there for us. Hanukkah is Tov Lahodos L'Hashem. La'agid baboker chazdecha, we saw the nisim, sh'oso nisim lavoseinu bayomim hahem. And then today, through all of the darkness, we can sing His praises filled with emunah, knowing that there's a bright future for the Jewish people, and we're going to be part of it. So get the message. Zos Hanukkah. This should be the culmination of everything we got out of Hanukkah. Dedication to Klal Yisrael. Dedication to Kiddush Shem Shamayim. With the confidence that Hashem is there with us and will make miracles happen. Harachamanu yaseh lanu nisim v'niflos kasha osa lavoseinu bayomim hahem bazman hazeh.